Good day everybody, my name is Dion van Aert. I'm a system architect here at Wonderware UK and Ireland, and I'm going to talk about Dream Reports to you today. So why are we talking about reporting? Well, first of all, we've got lots of data in our industrial plants. We've got a lot of instruments logging a lot of data into our SCADA systems, into our historians, into our HMI systems. But what we really need is information. We need information for compliance reasons. We need to do this to run or stay in business. So there are regulations and there's governance in our companies that require us to have reports. But what we really want to do is we want to get information so that we can run our businesses better. And we seek information to empower our users to make better decisions, to find out exactly what is going on in our facilities and how we can run our facilities in a better way. So what is the problem with current reporting solutions? Well, the traditional reporting tools has been made for the IT environment. It normally requires SQL knowledge, it requires a lot of IT skills to use, and they're traditionally difficult to use. The next thing is that they don't understand the industrial data sources and what the requirements are from an industrial point of view. And they're normally owned by the IT domain, which don't understand our problems, who might not have the time to do our reporting, and we have to go back and forth with IT people to try and create reports. As process engineers, we need configurable tools. We are used to ease of use with things like our SCADA systems, like InTouch. So these tools need to be easy to use. We want the results quickly, and we expect automation from the system. It should just work. So how does Dream Report help us in this regard? Well, first of all, it understands our industrial data sources. So it will connect to real-time data sources like our PLCs, our HMIs, our SCADA systems. It will also connect to historical data archives like historians, like the Wonderware historians or other historians that store and archive data in our industrial facilities. If you are not archiving or storing data into a historical database, Dream Report does provide for a data logger that will store your historical data. The next step that Dream Report does is the design and configuration of reports through the Dream Report Studio. It then helps us to generate reports either on a scheduled basis or on an event basis like plant events, batch start times, batch end times, or manually generated reports where a user can initiate the generation of reports. Reports are then published and distributed in any kind of format that you require. Of course, by default, it will go to a website in HTML5 format so that any web browser can access the reports, and it will render it in PDF format, Excel, or CSV format, and distribute it to your users using traditional file servers, FTP servers, email it to your users, print it on printers, and even give them access via their mobile devices. As we said, data connectivity is key. Dream Reports connects to over 85 different drivers, from historical archives into a whole lot of different systems, to HMI SCADA systems, Wonderware, and other systems. We also support all the open industry standard protocols like OPC, OPC UA, and we connect to any database like a Microsoft SQL Server or an Oracle database or any ODBC compliant database. And we also allow you to log data manually. So if you've got stranded equipment or something where there's no instrumentation connected, or you need to collect data or manually enter data, Dream Report will help you in that regard. Of course, it natively integrates into the Wonderware environment. It does automatic real-time integration into InTouch Machine Edition, application server, system platform, and all our OI servers, and into the historical environment. It will integrate into the traditional InTouch LGH, or the historical log files of InTouch, into our alarm logger, into the latest high-speed system platform alarms, of course into Wonderware Historian, and into the latest Wonderware Online, our cloud-based historian. Dream Report has a proud history with Wonderware. It's a Wonderware endorsed partner product and has been the technology partner product of the year a number of times. And this goes through a stringent process of certification to become endorsed by Wonderware. Of course, locally in the UK and Ireland, it is supported and sold by us, Wonderware UK and Ireland. And the benefit to you is that you have local support and you are not far away from people that can help you with integrating your reports into your system. For our SciTech users out there, similarly, we integrate into the SciTech SCADA and into the SciTech Historian environment. By the way, the latest SciTech system also integrates into our Wonderware Historian and into our Wonderware Online environment, so you can also get all your reports from the SciTech environment. So designing reports is, of course, the next step. Once we've connected to data, we want to create nice reports, and we do this in the Dream Report Designer Studio, which provides a user-friendly environment which you can do on a single node, or it can cater for multiple developers that can work on the same project at the same time. And it's got all the fancy graphical objects like charts, table, widgets, and pictures that is required to create very beautiful reports. Of course, very important, we said we needed to turn data and information. And Dream Reports provide a rich set of statistical functions that will allow you to do any kind of calculation, be that statistical or any other kind of calculation on the data to turn it into information. Template-based development is a key aspect of Dream Reports. If you want a common look and feel to your reports, or if you've got a lot of reports that do their calculations in a similar way, you can develop templatized based reports. And very important is the ease of use. You don't require any programming or SQL skills to develop your reports. New in the latest release is our ability to support a multi-development environment. So although you can do local development on a single node, you can also have a central repository with multiple developers connected to this and doing this development. It will lock reports and modules that you're working with so that other developers don't interfere with you while you're doing your development. And it will keep a complete configuration audit trail of who made changes, when did they make changes, and what was the changes that was made. It can also be used in a multi-node environment where you separate your development and quality assurance environments from your production environment. So while the developers are busy developing and testing reports, they don't influence the uptime of the production environment. Ensure the maximum uptime of the system. So users are never interrupted, and quality assurance and development can go ahead as they require. As we said, reports are made available via our browser-based portal through any HTML5 compliant browser, which of course is done in a secure environment, so only authorized users will have access to reports. And they can view the reports, dashboards, do manual data entry, and do any ad hoc reporting that they need to do. In the latest release, we also have drill-through capability. So if you see an item of interest on a report, you can click on it, get access to the underlying data in either tabular format or in graphical format. Dream Report can also work on the mobile environment. So the website will reform itself to fit onto any mobile device, be that a tablet or a mobile phone. and give access to all your reports to people wherever they are very easily. We talked about manual data entry. This is where you have those stranded assets, and you have people that need to go to these assets, collect information, enter this information like quality tests, maintenance information, or any other kind of information that needs to be recorded and reported on. You can create these web-based forms, publish them to the portal, and give that then to users, and they can then fill in these forms on any device wherever they are, right there and then. And we can use the data coming from these manual entry stations and combine them with any other reports that you may have in your system. Here's just another example of your tabular-based manual data entry form. Dream Report also supports batch reports. And of course, in the industrial environment, this is very important, so that we can generate reports for batches, for lots, for work orders, for production runs, or any other kind of batches that we may have. Batch time periods can be retrieved in 3 ways: from a real-time tag coming from our SCADA or HMI system, or from an external tag from a historian database, or from any other kind of SQL database, like for instance our in-batch database. Dream Report determines the start and end times and uses those in all objects on the reports. Here is an example of a statistical report where batch IDs are used to calculate the start and end time and batch duration, and then automatically present that on the report as the start and end time of a specific batch. Also, all other information of a batch is recorded, like the lot numbers and any other events that are critical to the specific batch report. Let's go through a quick demonstration of Dream Report. So first thing I'm going to do is open the Dream Report Studio and navigate to my project. The first thing we're going to do in our project is to connect to our data sources. And here you can see all the different data sources that we can connect to. Of course, we're interested in our Wonderware data sources, and you can see we connect to all the Wonderware, the InTouch, the Historian, InTouch Machine Edition, Historian, Alarms. Today we're going to connect to our Wonderware Historians. We're going to give this connection a logical name. Just going to call it our Historian Delta connection and do the configuration of that. First of all, we're going to log in with we're going to use our authentication to make sure we securely log into our Historian database, test our connection to our database, and then select the retrieval method we're going to use. Of course, Dream Report supports all the retrieval methods of our Historian. We are going to choose the Delta retrieval, which gives us the most granular retrieval. Let's create a report. First, we're going to give our report name. For the demonstration, we're going to just call it our Wonderware Historian report. And there's various configurations like time periods, if it's going to be a shift report, if it's going to be automatically generated or not. Let's put some graphical objects on the report. First, we're going to do a statistical table. So we're going to use our history service. So first, where's the data coming from? Our data source, which in this case is our Wonderware Historian. And with Dream Reports, we have full access to the full namespace. So we can see all the tags in our Wonderware Historian. I'm going to look at some temperatures, some flows, my reactor level. And I am going to say, what's my time period? So if it's a shift report, I will say which shift it must look at. Then what statistical functions do I need to perform on this data, and how do I want to format that? Do I want to have specific names or specific options? Do I want to have conditional format? So if something is out of limits, I want to indicate that to my user as, for instance, a red block. Not only can I report on analog data, I can also use the statistical functions on discrete data. Like for instance, in this case, I'm going to do a pump report. So I want to know what was the uptime, what was running time, the downtime, the availability of these pumps. And lastly, I'm going to do a bit of a graphical representation of my information. Once again, connecting to my Wonderware historian, I can see all the tags, and I want to do a few flows and represent them graphically on the screen. Once I've done this, I want to give my report a common look and feel. So I'm going to use a template that I've developed for all my reports. So I have this common look and feel to my reports. Once I've developed my report, I of course want to test it. So I go to the runtime environment of Dream Report and ask it to do a sample for me. And it will immediately go, and I can see my results immediately and evaluate my report and see if it's living up to the expectations that I have. In this case, I rendered it as a PDF report, and I'm happy with my report. Let's go and create a new report. This time I want to do a batch report. But I've got very similar batch reports all over my plant. So I have developed beforehand a template for batch reports. So I'm just going to retrieve this batch report template that has all the objects on it already defined. So all I now have to do is put it into the runtime environment, and users will be able to use this template then to generate their own report, their own batch report. So once again, I will access it through my web portal, and I'll be able to test it. Users then will be able to go to the web portal and generate these reports on an ad hoc basis. So there is my report rendered as a PDF from the web portal. But I can also do a batch generated report. So for a specific batch, I can choose that batch from the batch ID and generate the report for me. Dream Report also includes statistical process control. So it will connect to any one of our data sources, be that the real-time historical or the manually entered data. It provides by default all the charts, tables, and functions that is required by SPC. That is your industry standard XBAR reports. It will show you all the SPC rule violations and do you all your histograms that is required in an SPC environment. It will also give this to you in tabular format and perform all the functions like sigma reporting, capability reporting, limit reporting. You can also use Dream Report to do basic equipment and OEE reports, because Dream Report has built-in functions to calculate equipment running time, downtime. It will count how many times the machine has gone on, off, how long it's been running, calculate system availability. You can even use it in a proactive maintenance environment, where you can generate and send reports as soon as uptime is reached on a predefined value in the system, and the report will be automatically generated and sent out to the users. Here is an example of an availability report of a specific production line, or an OEE, overall equipment effectiveness report, where it will show the availability, performance, and quality on a dashboard to actions. Dream Report is also ready for the regulated and validated environment. It provides extremely good user management. So it supports Windows authentication with either local or domain groups, and you can even localize Dream Report to work on any language. As we said previously, version control is by default a part of Dream Report. So there's a secure version ID on every report, and you can track user changes in a secure database, and you can even roll back to a specific certified version of a report. It also records all runtime activities, so when reports are generated, that is also recorded in the audit trail. And very important in our environment is electronic signatures that is included with Dream Report, which makes this a very unique offering in our space that your general reporting tools don't do. So, as you can see, Dream Report is an easy-to-use tool, and it provides a rich set of functions to provide for all your reporting needs. It's professional, designer-friendly reporting software with industrial and process automation. As you saw, it connects to really everything in the automation environment, the real-time, the historical data sources, and even to your business sources like SQL and Oracle databases. Most important thing is that it's easy to use. Within a couple of hours, you can be up and running. You don't require any programming or scripting, and no software development skills or SQL skills is required to use Dream Report. It's an all-in-one solution. It is really easy to install, and you give your users access to aggregated live and historical data, and it produces in all the formats that you require, from web browsers to PDF documents to printers to emails. It's your complete industrial reporting solution. We do have some upcoming webinars. On the 22nd of August, we have our troubleshooting Ethernet and IP network. And on the 28th of August is migrating and optimizing your legacy systems. So if you're interested in any one of those topics, please join us for those